Center for American Progress. Really honored to have you all here. Transportation has bridged American communities for generations. As the second largest expense for American households, let me say that again, the second largest expense for American households, it impacts the lives of American workers every day. But too many communities have been left out of the decision-making process. As we celebrate the Transportation Department's 50th anniversary this year, it's time to put our infrastructure dollars back to work. It's more important than ever that we connect more American communities to opportunities and give everyone, no matter their income or their zip code, a fair shot at success. We're really honored to have Secretary Anthony Foxx here today, because for the past 3 years, Secretary Foxx has worked tirelessly to usher in a new era of American transportation policy, challenging lawmakers to address crucial deficiencies in our nation's infrastructure. Under his leadership, the Department of Transportation has fostered new innovations and investments to help American cities better serve all of their residents, leaving no one behind. Today, Secretary Foxx will lay out his vision for how we can build on the progress and on this progress and ensure that a more inclusive transportation.
People have begun thinking about transportation in a slightly different way, which is to think about what transportation does, not just from place getting, but also in terms of place making. What does transportation mean as it relates to how we build community? And I'm going to spend some time talking about that subject today. But the first thing that I wanted to get to was we have to kind of get into the frame of mind here. So let's think about the design of our built environment and how many decisions get made and get made with choices having been presented. And I guess one of the ways that I can talk about this is to maybe get out of transportation for a second and to get to something, or at least a team that I happen to love very much, which is the New York Yankees. If you look at this, there's just a simple baseball stadium, Yankee Stadium. But one thing about the way the stadium is arranged is that the home plate actually faces northeast. And there's actually a rule of Major League Baseball, Rule 1.04, that specifies that the home plate is supposed to face northeast. Well, why is that? Well, the reason is because when the plate faces in that direction, that's the one direction you can face where the sunlight will not fall onto the batter's eyes. And so not every Major League stadium adheres to this as rigidly as Yankee Stadium does. But it's interesting to note that folks thought so much about the design of a baseball stadium that that minor detail is something that was actually thought about and codified in Major League Baseball rules. Wide connected highway system. It started with 8 miles in Kansas and eventually grew into one of the most expansive and impressive networks the world has ever seen. As we all know, it has served as a major engine of our economy for decades, and highways were designed to get people largely from rural and suburban areas into urban cores as quickly as possible. Inevitably, highways did run through folks' backyards, and as a result, protests arose across the country called highway revolts, and really it became very clear that folks really didn't want these highways in their backyards. We now know overwhelmingly, though, that our urban freeways were routed through low-income and minority communities. And so instead of